Hear me out, Jungkook isn't actually the maknae of BTS. I'm Beatrice, a professional astrologer, and in this video I'm analyzing JK's birth chart. As you will see, although he is the youngest member, he is actually a quite old soul. Hello stars, welcome back to my channel where I analyze the birth charts of your favorite celebrities. Today we're diving deep into the natal horoscope of BTS member Jungkook. Before we start, I must apologize for my strange voice. Due to a sore throat, I completely lost my voice a few days ago. I just regained it and it's not ideal for recording a video, but I don't want to keep you waiting any longer. Should you have difficulties understanding me, please turn the subtitles on. Thank you for your understanding. This is the second video about Jungkook. I already uploaded one where I talked about 4 interesting things that I noticed in his chart, about his ascendant, also called rising sun, about his sun and moon. The video you are watching now is the second part of my analysis, and there will be 2 more videos about JK. The topics of the third video are his career and money, and the fourth video will be about his spouse, relationships, and friends. If you haven't watched the first video yet, you can find the link in the description. If you don't want to miss the next videos, please subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on. When the next parts will be online, I will also post the links in the description of this video. Now let's get started. Jungkook's birth chart paints a picture of a deep, introspective, and incredibly complex soul, someone who often feels like he's been here before. And that's not just poetic language. In astrology, when a person has many retrograde planets in their birth chart, it often suggests an old soul, someone who carries wisdom and emotional depth from past lives. And Jungkook has many retrograde planets in his chart, which means that he may feel drawn to deep questions, spiritual growth, and understanding his purpose in the world. When it comes to their age, JK is the youngest member of the band, but he isn't actually the maknae as fans understand this role. Can you guess who the real maknae is? Write it in the comments. I will reveal the answer in my next videos when I will analyze the birth charts of the other BTS members. Let's now take a look at Jungkook's North Node in Virgo, placed in the 8th house. If you ask yourself what I mean when I say house, here's the explanation. A horoscope looks like a pizza cut into 12 slices. These slices are called houses in astrology, and each house has a certain meaning. It represents a certain area of life. I will mention the meaning when I analyze the houses. Now back to the North Node, which in astrology is like a spiritual GPS. It shows the direction your soul wants to grow in this lifetime. Virgo is the sign of precision, healing, and service, and the 8th house is among others about transformation, spirituality, and emotional truth. This combination suggests that Jungkook is meant to go through deep inner changes, learning to be practical and grounded, while also diving into life's emotional and spiritual mysteries. He's not here for surface-level experiences. He's here to evolve, even if it means facing uncomfortable truths about himself and the world. Right next to his North Node is Black Moon Lilith, a point connected to raw feminine energy, to sexuality, independence, and the parts of us that don't want to follow society's rules. Lilith adds fire and intensity to JK's path. People with displacement respect traditional values and rules when they are younger, but become more and more rebellious and embrace their authenticity when they are older, even if it means breaking rules, some of which might even be related to taboo topics. Together, Lilith and the North Node say Jungkook is here to be unapologetically himself, to heal, serve, and transform, even when others don't understand. The way he will do that will be mainly through artistic and creative projects. Lilith and the North Node also form a supportive connection with Pallas Athena, the asteroid of wisdom, intuition, and strategy. This asteroid is placed in his 1st house, representing his personality and the way he presents himself to the world. That means he naturally understands patterns in people and life, and he can use this awareness to guide others or express deep truths through art or music. His strength isn't loud, but it's sharp and clear. He sees what others don't. But it's not always smooth. This same North Node and Lilith also make a tricky angle, also called quincunx, to Saturn, the planet of responsibility and structure, which sits in his 3rd house of communication and thoughts. Saturn is also retrograde, which means Jungkook may have grown up feeling misunderstood or like his thoughts and ideas weren't always accepted. He might have been hard on himself, feeling like he had to get it right before speaking up. But this challenge pushes him to develop his voice, and when he does, it's powerful. In my previous video, I talked about JK's ascendant in Capricorn, which marks the beginning of the first house in the horoscope and deeply influences his personality. I won't go through all the information again, so if needed, please watch or rewatch the first video. But last time I didn't talk about the asteroids and planets located in the first house that also influence JK's personality. We're taking a closer look at them together in this video. In Jungkook's birth chart, the asteroid Nike, named after the Greek goddess of victory, is right on his ascendant, which is the point that shows how a person presents themselves to the world. This placement is powerful. It means that Jungkook naturally carries the energy of a winner. It's in his aura, in the way he walks, sings, trains, performs. You can feel that he is someone who was born to succeed. In the previous video, I also talked a lot about Jungkook's strive for perfection, and here comes an additional fact. Having Nike on the ascendant makes JK deeply competitive, even if he doesn't always show it. He doesn't just want to be good, he wants to be the best. And most of all, he doesn't accept losing. Failure isn't an option for him, not because he wants to beat others, but because he wants to beat his own limits. He pushes himself hard, aiming higher every time, with the quiet determination of someone who truly believes that victory isn't luck, it's earned. It's part of what makes him so magnetic. You're not just watching talent, you're watching someone who refuses to give up. Jungkook's first house is packed with powerful energies, Neptune, Uranus, and the asteroid Athena, all retrograde. Neptune gives him a deep, quiet sensitivity, one that many people might not notice right away. Neptune is the planet of dreams, illusions, and spirituality. It makes a person more connected to emotions, beauty, and even the feelings of others. In Jungkook's case, it helps him sense what people are feeling, even if they don't say anything. He picks up on moods, unspoken pain, or energy in a room without needing words. But because Neptune is retrograde, Jungkook often hides his own emotions. He might feel unsure of who he truly is, like he's wearing a mask for the world, while the real him stays tucked away inside. This Neptune is in Capricorn, a sign that wants things to be real, stable, and strong. So even if he feels confused or lost sometimes, he keeps working hard, building something solid, trying to make his dreams real. He doesn't want to float in illusions, he wants his dreams to mean something. To make things more complex, this Neptune forms a square, a tense aspect, with his midheaven, the point in his chart that represents his public image and life path. This creates a disconnect between how the world sees him and how he sees himself. While the world sees someone graceful, talented, and polished, Jungkook might feel like people are missing his emotional, sensitive part, the side that's still figuring things out. This gap can feel lonely at times. It takes him time to trust his feelings and believe that who he is on the inside is just as worthy as the version people admire on the outside. Uranus retrograde in the first house gives Jungkook a natural, powerful need to be himself, different, original, and unlike anyone else. Uranus is the planet of change, freedom, and rebellion. It brings flashes of inspiration, unusual ideas, and a desire to break out of the box. Even if he follows the rules, he always adds his own twist. He doesn't try to copy anyone, he creates something new. But because Uranus is retrograde, this urge to be different often works quietly from the inside out. Jungkook might not always show his rebellious or innovative side right away. Instead of being loud or dramatic, he expresses it through his creativity, style, or performance. He might have sudden changes of mood, new ideas, or moments when he wants to do the opposite of what's expected, but instead of shouting it, he turns it into art. On the outside, he may seem cool, collected, even a little reserved, but inside there's a strong voice saying, "Let me be free, let me do it my way." Uranus is in Aquarius, the sign it rules. This makes the energy even stronger. Aquarius is all about the future, innovation, and standing out from the crowd. So Jungkook doesn't just want to be original, he's meant to be. He's a trendsetter, someone who brings fresh energy into everything he does. But with Uranus retrograde, he might sometimes doubt himself, wondering if people will accept his different ideas or if it's okay to stand out so much. Over time, though, he learns that this unique, forward thinking part of him is not a problem, it's actually his greatest strength. The asteroid Pallas Athena retrograde in Jungkook's first house gives him a quiet but powerful kind of wisdom. She's not just the goddess of wisdom and strategy, she's also the goddess of war, the feminine counterpart to Mars. This adds another layer to JK's personality. He may look calm on the outside, but inside he's a fighter. He's competitive, focused, and sharp, especially when something truly matters to him. In Capricorn, Athena gives him a serious, determined mind that notices patterns and details others miss. But because she's retrograde, all this thinking happens inward first. Jungkook might not speak up right away, but when he does, it's clear he's been watching, planning, and thinking deeply. Pallas Athena is also part of a tense T-square with Venus, the planet of beauty and values, and Saturn, the planet of rules and limits, which shows that JK is often balancing between what he wants to express and what he thinks he should express. This inner tension doesn't weaken him, it makes him stronger, deeper, and more thoughtful, especially when creating art or telling personal stories. He's not aggressive, but he's not someone who gives up either. He's a quiet warrior, competitive in spirit, strategic in action, and always thinking 5 steps ahead. With all three in retrograde, Jungkook may seem calm, even shy, but inside he's full of deep thoughts, feelings, and original ideas. It might take him longer to understand himself or to feel confident showing his true self to the world. But this inner journey makes him thoughtful, creative, and wise beyond his years. He's not someone who acts without thinking. He takes his time, feels things deeply, and wants to live in a way that feels true to him, not just what others expect. People may be drawn to him without knowing why. He has a quiet kind of magnetism, like someone who sees and understands more than he says. He doesn't just follow trends, he creates his own path. And while that path may be slower or more private, it's also more meaningful. Everything he does with his heart, purpose, and a deep sense of who he is becoming. In his second house, which shapes how he sees his worth and values, we find Jupiter, the planet of expansion and beliefs, sitting right at the entrance. It's in Aquarius and also retrograde. This means Jungkook has his own moral compass and he doesn't like to be told what to believe. Aquarius adds a futuristic, visionary edge, meaning that JK values freedom, creativity, and being true to himself. When he believes in what he's doing, he shines. But Jupiter is also part of a T-square connected to Mars, the planet of action, and the vertex, a point in the horoscope tied to fate. This makes his inner world intense. He feels driven to do something important, but sometimes that comes with internal pressure or the sense that he needs to prove himself. Still, Jupiter forms a soft, supportive connection with Venus in JK's ninth house of principles, life philosophy, travel, and high studies, meaning that love, beauty, and art are his guiding lights. When he creates, he feels complete. His third house of communication is ruled by Pisces, a sign linked to music, dreams, and emotions. This, plus Neptune, Pisces' ruling planet in Jungkook's first house, confirms his natural gift for music. He doesn't just sing, he feels what he sings. Words, sounds, and rhythm are healing for him. He can express things in songs that he might not be able to say in regular conversations. Now in his fourth house, where we see his emotional foundation and private self, there's Vesta, the asteroid of devotion in Taurus. Taurus is linked to comfort and stability. Vesta placed here shows a deep commitment to his roots and family, but also a quiet sacred space he keeps just for himself. He finds healing in routine and comfort, but because Vesta opposes Chiron, the asteroid of wounds, there's been emotional pain in his private life, maybe feeling like home wasn't always safe or like he had to be strong too soon. In my opinion, this wound in JK's chart represents the fact that he had to leave his family and home at a very young age in order to become a trainee and later an idol, and that left a mark. In his fifth house of creativity, Taurus shows up again. Taurus rules the throat and vocal cords, making this house another sign that JK is gifted in singing. It also rules cooking, and yes, as armies know, Jungkook finds joy and relaxation in preparing food. Cooking could be both a hobby and a comfort. The eighth house, where we already saw his North Node and Lilith, holds even more keys to his personality. This house represents, among others, spirituality and transformation. His Sun, Mercury, and Moon are all here. The Sun represents who he is at his core, and in Virgo it makes him thoughtful, precise, and hardworking. I talked more about the Sun in my first video if you want to check that too. Mercury, the planet of communication, sits close to the Sun, but it's retrograde. This means that JK thinks deeply. He may overthink or doubt himself at times, but when he finds clarity, his words are powerful. The Moon placed here shows emotional depth, intuition, and an ability to sense other people's feelings without them saying a word. His inner world is rich and maybe even secretive. He doesn't show his full self to everyone, only to those who truly understand him. His ninth house, connected to travel, beliefs, philosophy, and long-term growth, holds Venus in Libra, the sign of harmony, beauty, and balance. Venus here shows that he finds beauty in knowledge and personal growth. He's drawn to art, culture, and fairness. Venus also connects smoothly to the vertex, that point related to fate that I mentioned before, suggesting that Jungkook's values and beliefs are closely tied to his destiny. Venus in Libra in the ninth house of a person's birth chart can also be a sign that that person will travel a lot or will have international success due to things related to arts. Because of that connection to the vertex, JK was destined to become successful thanks to arts or even an internationally celebrated artist. In his 10th house, we find Chiron and Mars. The 10th house represents our career, role in society, and public image. For Jungkook, I will tell you more about that in the next video, but even this house gives us information about JK's personality. Chiron, as the wounded healer, shows where we carry pain, but also where we can help others. Sitting on his midheaven, the top of the chart, this tells us that part of Jungkook's identity is shaped by emotional pain he has transformed into strength. Mars in Scorpio in the same house gives him drive, power, and emotional focus. He doesn't do things halfway, he gives it all or nothing. The 11th house, ruled by Scorpio, speaks about goals and long-term vision. Jungkook is very ambitious. He wants to do more than just succeed. He wants to leave a mark. Pluto, the planet of transformation, is here in Sagittarius, adding fire to his vision. But Pluto squares the Moon, which means his dreams might sometimes clash with his emotions. Still, this tension pushes him to grow. Finally, his 12th house, the place of our psyche, dreams, solitude, and hidden things, holds the part of fortune, a special point linked to joy and purpose. For Jungkook, happiness comes from quiet reflection, from time alone, and from tuning into his inner world. He's most fulfilled when he can connect to something bigger than himself, whether that's through music, meditation, or simply dreaming. The part of fortune also represents luck, and having it in the 12th house means that JK's luck comes unexpected and from surprising places. This point could also act like a little guardian angel, helping JK or bringing luck when he least expects it. In short, Jungkook's chart shows someone with incredible depth, discipline, and creativity. He's here to transform, not just himself, but the people he touches. He carries both softness and power, and he's meant to walk his own path even when it's not easy. His voice, both literal and emotional, is his gift to the world. You now know almost everything about JK's personality, but there's a fascinating contradiction in his birth chart that I want to mention separately: his shyness while actually being very confident. In astrology, shyness doesn't just mean someone is quiet. It can come from being thoughtful, sensitive, or even a little unsure of how others will receive you. For Jungkook, this is something written clearly in the stars. Let's start with Mercury, the planet that rules communication, thinking, and how we express ourselves. In Jungkook's chart, Mercury is retrograde, and that's important. When a planet is retrograde, it looks like it's moving backwards in the sky, and symbolically, this means the energy of that planet turns inward. People with Mercury retrograde are usually introverts and often think a lot before they speak. They may second guess their words and worry if others will understand them. Sometimes they express themselves better through writing, music, or action rather than talking. For Jungkook, this retrograde Mercury adds a thoughtful, private layer to his personality. He probably spends a lot of time in his head going over things quietly before choosing what to say. He has a lot of thoughts, a very active inner life. But he doesn't like speaking to people or sharing his feelings unless he knows a person very well and trusts them a lot. Even more, Mercury is in Virgo, a sign known for being smart, careful, and perfectionist. Virgo wants everything to be just right, so when Mercury, which is also Virgo's ruler, sits here and is retrograde, you get someone who thinks very deeply, pays close attention to detail, and may be too hard on himself when he speaks. This doesn't mean Jungkook is not good at communication. Actually, he could be very precise and clear when he does speak, but he may hesitate to open up, especially in new or uncomfortable situations. He wants to make sure he says the right thing, which can slow him down and make him seem shy. Now let's take a look at his third house, which in astrology shows how we speak, learn, process, and share information. For Jungkook, the third house begins in Pisces, a water sign known for being dreamy, emotional, and very sensitive. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, the planet of dreams and illusions, which makes him highly intuitive, almost like he can feel what others are thinking. But Pisces' energy isn't loud. It's soft, poetic, and often shy. Jungkook may prefer to show his thoughts through music, drawing, or other creative things rather than speaking out loud, especially if the setting feels too intense. Adding to this, Saturn, the planet of limits, fear, responsibility, and self-control, is also in the third house and it's retrograde too. Saturn can make someone feel like they are not good enough in the area of life it touches. In the third house, that's communication. Jungkook might have grown up feeling like it was hard for him to speak freely, maybe he was scared of saying something wrong, or maybe he felt like he had to hold back. Because Saturn is retrograde, these feelings are very internal. He might not show them easily, but they are there. Saturn brings discipline, so over time JK has probably worked very hard to improve the way he speaks or expresses himself. But still it can make him feel serious and reserved when he's around people he doesn't know well. All of this builds a strong pattern. Jungkook is someone who feels deeply and thinks carefully. He doesn't just blurt things out. He might be shy at first, especially in new situations, but not because he has nothing to say. It's because he cares about saying things the right way. He doesn't like to be misunderstood. And there's something else. His ascendant is in Capricorn, a sign that's known for being serious and private. Capricorn doesn't like to show emotion quickly. People with this ascendant often come across as shy or distant at first, but it's not because they are cold, it's because they are cautious. They want to feel safe before opening up. Once they do, though, they are loyal, thoughtful, and surprisingly warm. All of this shows us that Jungkook's shyness isn't a weakness, it's part of his strength. He listens before he speaks. He feels deeply. He expresses himself in beautiful ways like music, movement, or even just in small moments of kindness. His birth chart shows someone who is thoughtful, creative, and deeply in tune with the world around him, even if he doesn't always say it out loud. Jungkook is known for many things, his talent, his energy, his kindness, but fans also love how hungry he always seems to be. He's often caught snacking on camera, and there's a funny and sweet truth about him. Jungkook is almost always eating. And believe it or not, astrology has a very interesting explanation for this. Let's start with JK's Jupiter at the beginning of his second house. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and abundance, and the second house is linked to comfort and pleasure. This can make him overindulge, especially in things that make him feel good, like food. He doesn't just eat to survive, he eats to enjoy. And then there's the T-square I already mentioned earlier. This pattern creates a kind of inner pressure. People having T-squares in their birth chart may feel something is missing, and they try to fill that empty space. A famous astrologer, Zane B. Steen, said that if this missing point falls in Taurus or Cancer, two signs deeply connected to food and comfort, the person may try to fill the emptiness by eating. In Jungkook's chart, we see a T-square involving the planet Mars, which is in Scorpio, a powerful and intense sign. Mars is the planet of action, energy, and drive. It rules how we move, fight, and chase after things we want. In Jungkook's chart, Mars is in the 10th house, which is the area of life connected to public image and goals. This means that his energy is often focused on being the best, achieving great things, and pushing himself hard. But this drive can also create inner pressure, like always needing to prove himself or keep going even when tired. The opposite side of this T-square, the empty point that he might be trying to fill, falls in Taurus in his 4th house, which rules home, comfort, and also food. Taurus is an earth sign ruled by Venus, the planet of pleasure. It's all about touch, taste, and enjoying life's simple joys, like eating your favorite dish, curling up in a cozy bed, or baking something sweet. When someone has a T-square that points toward Taurus, they may feel an invisible pull to soothe themselves by eating, especially when they are stressed, tired, or just need to feel better. Jungkook's hunger isn't just about his stomach, it's his body's way of grounding himself, of feeling safe and calm in a busy world. Now let's add something from medical astrology which helps explain how a person's body and energy work. Jungkook has a smooth connection between his Sun, the planet that shows your core energy and personality, and Mars, the planet of action. This means his metabolism is fast, he burns energy quickly and needs to refuel often. Combine that with how hard he works and it's no surprise he's always hungry. On top of that, Jungkook's moon, the planet that rules emotions and physical comfort, is in Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the fast-moving planet of the mind and body. This gives him a sharp awareness of what his body needs and when it needs it. But it also means his energy moves quickly and he might feel drained easily if he's not taking care of himself, especially when it comes to food, sleep, or routine. The moon in Virgo is often very tuned into health but also sensitive to stress. Food can become both fuel and comfort in his case. So when Jungkook reaches for a snack yet again, it's not just a funny habit, it's written in his stars. His birth chart shows someone who uses food as a way to recharge, relax, and feel emotionally safe, especially when life gets intense. And with his strong drive to succeed, his quick metabolism, and his sensitive inner world, that need for food is both physical and emotional. Now you know everything I can tell you about Jungkook's personality. In the next videos, I will talk about his career, finances, his spouse, relationships, and friends. After that, I will upload videos about the other 6 BTS members. If you don't want to miss them, please subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on. Until the next time, shine bright like the stars.